to K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa.
And this is our news shot, where we take something out there in the K-drama land that kind of intrigued us, and we dig into it. And this week, we just had International Women's Day. And so Marisa did an amazing thing on Instagram with all of these great women that we've been following and we love, and kind of like some of the ones that are kind of our favorites out there. And it got us thinking. Got us thinking about women.
Imagine that. We have thoughts.
I know we have thoughts.
Yes.
We have thoughts about women in K-dramas and how it all what kind of that whole meaty stew of it all is. And one of the shows that keeps coming out, but one of the books that keeps coming up when you kind of do a quick search or you start talking about things, or as our friend over Drama Milk has told us, that the basis of what kind of the new wave of romantic comedies right now is the book
Kim Ji-young, born 1982.
which is like the feminist tome of Korea.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating.
Which came out, it was released in Korea, what, a couple of years?
I want to say
couple
in
of years
2016.
ago.
2 or 3
So
years ago,
it's-
2016.
Yeah, Google it because it's fascinating
It is
how
fascinating.
this book has made an impact on people, on politicians, on
Government communications.
government advertising. It's
Yes.
really, and clearly K-dramas, and how, because what is fascinating to us is that the majority, it seems, of K-drama writers are women.
Yes, and I'm fascinated by that because that is where the voice of the show comes from.
Yes.
Yes, the director, who's primarily male in Korea, has
Typically.
the vision, but the words that everybody is saying, the story is primarily women. And I love that.
The
so
novelist,
much.
the novelist of Kim Ji-young, born 1982, is Jo Nam-ju, who is a former TV writer. So I don't know if she's writing the film that's going to be coming out, but the film is starring Jung Yoo-mi, who's a huge star, and Gong Yoo, also international
a huge
star.
star.
A small international star.
Small
You might have heard of him.
You might have seen him once or twice.
So it's really fascinating to us that this book is going to be made into a film, because film, and that it's influenced so many television writers, because those stories are in your home, they're in your living room, they're on your devices. That's what you consume, or certainly that's what we consume. And so we're fascinating that these feminist issues are being put forth in these series, because the rampant sexism that we see, there's a reason why it's being portrayed. Yeah.
Exactly. And just to kind of give you a quick, just a
should we
recap
talk
of what
about
the book is. The book is essentially Kim Ji-young, born 1982. So she is a woman who was in the workforce and then got married and had a child and was no longer in the workforce. And it's basically how her life spirals out of control, for lack of a better word, between the different sexism and the in-law situation, and how her life just became so myopic, and how she basically in the book no longer has her own voice, and so she starts to kind of become almost schizophrenic and can only say her real thoughts by channeling other people,
like
her mother, a dead friend, and that type of stuff. So it's a really, really interesting look at being a woman in South Korea at this time.
And the name Kim Ji-young was the most popular name of girls born in 1982. So she is every woman. She is your average woman. She is what your typical South Korean woman experiences as she moves through her life, between work,
gender messages, growing up in the home, if you have brothers.
expectations of a hierarchical society, how she has to put aside her own feelings, her own thoughts, in order to satisfy everyone around her. So it's really
whether
huge
it's
impact.
in the workplace or as a mother, like just strangers on the street judging her, her own within her own family.
In-laws.
Yes. So this is part of Korean culture that is interesting and new to us.
Absolutely.
And so we see it through K-dramas.
Yeah.
For instance, in Because This Is My First Life.
Right.
That was a really big story point
was.
about the expectations of.
They even wrote in their contract
What the daughter-in-law does for them.
you do not have to. We do not have to go to each other's parents' house.
Yeah.
That's it. Do not have to do it.
Fight My Way also. That was made very clear. And this is because these women writers have been clearly influenced by this book.
And it slips in.
I remember, sorry, I was just thinking Queen of Mystery, how she lives.
Yes,
She
yes.
like is basically a servant to her
Yes.
mother and sister-in-law in that story.
And
so.
it's just,
That's
it's
right.
really, it's obviously something that is foreign to us overall because we just, again, see it in dramas, but it's such a fascinating story point that even in the short amount of time, and you guys always laugh at me all the time that I won't watch anything prior to like 2010, but I can't. It just makes me so crazy. Like
Yeah.
it just makes me nuts. But it's so interesting to even see in the last 2 years since I started watching just the shift. It's a little
has
subtle, but there's definitely been a shift into that more feminist ideology.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating.
Or just
to
about
kind
the
of,
female characters just speaking their thoughts
Yes.
instead of holding it in all the time.
Yeah.
And even like with the wrist
And whatever
grabs and stuff like that, like they're getting called out with that just not being acceptable anymore. And it's just,
you hardly see them.
it's really,
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's really interesting to me, and I think to all of us, that this book seems to be like the Rosetta Stone of this whole new thing that's happening in K-dramas. And
It's
maybe
just-
we're
I had-
wrong, so if we are, let us know. But it was something that really fascinates us.
I've obviously have just heard of this. Thank you, Drama Milk,
Yeah.
and our other collaborator, Drama Current. Thank
Yes.
you. I've not read this book, obviously, so
Yeah.
now I'm curious to read it. I believe it's been translated by now.
So, yeah,
into many
think
different
so.
languages.
absolutely.
So
And like just this book, I just think what's really fascinating also about this book is that it's so polarizing.
It is, yeah.
And like there's a couple of idols that just mentioned they
Oh my
read
gosh,
it.
when I read that article-
from Red Velvet.
Yes. They just mentioned they were reading it or they read the book and they got eviscerated.
So much hate.
So much hate.
Yeah.
Like not to get okay, soapbox climb up on top. But here's my question: what is it about women and men being equal or having an equal voice that is so
Disturbing.
disturbing is the right
and
word.
disruptive to people.
What is that? I don't.
humans having free will and
I
choice.
just-
That's incredible.
It's a fascinating thing to me because we have the same thing, not exactly in the same manner, but it happens everywhere. It's not like
I mean, the U.S. is not devoid of these
we aren't
very
devoid of
same-
it at all. It's interesting to
realities.
see how it manifests itself in different cultures and the way it is.
And how is it portrayed
Exactly.
in entertainment?
Yes,
It's
and you
such-
can change lives through art.
You can.
So these women
love
who are
this, my favorite
writers,
part.
I know, who are putting this on the air through their creative storytelling, it's having a huge impact. I mean, that wrist grab, we really barely see it anymore.
Really, and if we
Or
do,
we'll see it more realistic. Like if you want somebody to turn around and you just reach out and grab for them, you don't grab their wrist, you would grab like their shoulder.
But it was
Or, like,
tropey,
turn
tropey,
around.
tropey,
Yeah.
constant all the time in dramas.
Yeah. Even like
Hence Jen's 2010 role, right? And that's only just one
Oh.
example of how
Right.
women have taken back these
it is. It's
these
just
tropes
so.
and
Well,
turned them on
and
their
when I
head.
was just watching Boyfriend/Encounter, and there was one in the first episode, and he catches himself
Yeah.
where and it seems really natural, and he like just grabs her by the wrist to like. And then and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. He's like, that was
Right?
really.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, it kind of was, but all right. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I
So-
don't like that. And it makes me so happy. And even like with the production company that is producing
Yes.
Kim Ji Young
Yeah.
is born 1982. They were like, you know what? We're kind of tired
It's
of
two women,
of-
right?
It's two women
Two women
that are
producers.
producing it. Like it's so. I mean, it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
It brings I think all of us a tremendous amount of joy, and just to be able to talk about it and
Yeah.
oh
Because the film is going to be directed by a woman as well.
right.
We don't know who the writer is. Do you know? Can you tell us?
If you can tell us
Do you have
anything.
any inside scoop?
Yeah, we would love
and
more
this is-
information.
And I think I saw, I mean, there's not very much, like you said, on Asian Wiki right now about it, but I think it's supposed to be filming this year and maybe released later this year. So definitely
Yeah.
something
Whoa.
we'll be keeping an eye out for. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I can't wait to
Now that
watch it,
it's-
and then
now
we can
that
talk
now
about
that it's on our radar.
Thank
I'm
you
excited.
so much.
Thank
oh,
you.
this is a great. This one is so juicy, and I love it.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was our news shot. Thanks so much, you guys. We're the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Karen.
I'm Marisa. Also, find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Thank you so much for subscribing to us here on YouTube. If you haven't, please do. We have so many
Yes.
great things to share with you. Leave a comment below. Come join our K-drama Coffee Klatch. See you next time.